Welcome to Soul Velocity. Today we're diving deep into a topic that will separate your habits from your destiny. The title is, You Don't Need Support, You Need Start. And I've broken this journey down into 10 powerful parts, each one built to challenge, stretch, and grow you. So buckle up. Let's begin with part one. You keep waiting for someone to clap. You keep waiting for a friend to tell you you're good enough. You keep waiting for the right conditions, the perfect setup, that moment when everybody finally sees your potential. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you you don't need support. You need to start. Steve Harvey didn't get where he is because everybody believed in him. He got there because he moved when nobody did, because he showed up when the room was empty, because he trusted his calling more than he needed a crowd. See, the support will come after the start, after you've proven you're serious, after you failed in front of people and still showed up again, after you've put your vision out in the world and refused to back down. You think the start needs applause? No. The start needs courage. Nobody is going to hand you your dream. Nobody is going to make it easy. And most people won't believe in your vision, not because it's not powerful, but because it scares them, because your movement reminds them of their excuses, because your start exposes their stall. But this journey isn't about them. It's about you. And it starts when you stop asking for permission. You don't need a partner to get moving. You don't need 10 likes to validate your voice. You don't need followers. You need focus. Start ugly. Start scared. Start underqualified. But for God's sake, just start. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will say, I always believed in you. Let them talk later. You've got a vision to build now. Steve Harvey didn't wait for perfect. He waited tables. He worked odd jobs. He slept in his car. And in the middle of rejection, he kept going. That's not magic. That's movement. That's the power of a decision. Say this out loud. I don't need your chair to choose my calling. I'm already chosen. I'm already equipped. I'm already in motion. You'll never reach the mountaintop waiting for someone to push you up the hill. You climb it with grit, with faith, with the boldness to say, even if it's just me, I'm going. This is your time to stop scrolling and start becoming, to stop hoping and start building, to stop talking and start moving. You don't need support to walk in your assignment. You need a start that says, this is who I am, with or without applause. Part two, the myth of motivation and the truth about movement. You've been lied to. Motivation is not what moves the great ones, because motivation fades. It comes and goes like the weather. And if you wait on it, you'll be stuck in the same place 10 years from now. The truth, movement creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't wake up inspired, you wake up committed. You show up even when you don't feel like it. You train your body, your mind, your soul to respond to a higher calling, not a passing feeling. Steve Harvey didn't become Steve Harvey because he was always fired up. He became Steve Harvey because he was always faithful. Faithful when tired, faithful when broke, faithful when unseen. He moved before he was motivated. And when the world finally saw him, they called it destiny. But it was always discipline. If you wait until you're motivated to write that book, start that business, hit that gym, you'll be waiting your whole life. Stop chasing hype, chase habits, because real success doesn't shout, it whispers. And the ones who win are the ones who listen to that whisper every day and act on it. You don't need another speech. You don't need another video. You need to make a promise to yourself. I move even when I'm not in the mood, because once you move, something powerful happens. Momentum. And momentum doesn't need permission. It doesn't wait for applause. It doesn't care who sees you. It multiplies. One small action at a time. You get 1% better, then another, and suddenly you're miles away from the version of you that used to hesitate. Say this, I don't wait for motivation, I build it, one disciplined step at a time, because the myth says you need to feel it first. But the truth, you need to move first. That's where power lives, not in hype, but in habit, not in feelings, but in faithfulness. Your future is counting on the version of you that shows up when the world is asleep. So don't wait, walk, don't stall, start. Part three, what to do when no one claps and you're all alone. You ever had a moment where you looked around and it was just you? No friends cheering, no family calling, no one asking how it's going, because they don't even know you started. That's the moment most people quit, because we think greatness starts with support, with a circle, with love from the outside. But the truth, the beginning is almost always lonely. Steve Harvey said it. Sometimes you gotta do it by yourself until you can do it in front of everybody. When no one claps, you gotta learn to clap for yourself. When nobody's watching, you gotta learn to perform anyway. When it's silent, you gotta let your discipline speak louder than the silence. You don't need a crowd to be consistent. You don't need approval to walk in your purpose. You've gotta become your own fuel. Because sometimes the very people you thought would lift you will ignore you. Not because they don't care, but because they can't see what you see. That vision inside you, that voice that keeps whispering, that restlessness, it's real. And it doesn't need applause. It needs action. You'll be alone sometimes, but alone doesn't mean abandoned. Alone doesn't mean unworthy. Alone means called. God hides greatness in quiet places. He hides strength in solitude. because he wants to see, will you still build it when nobody sees you? Will you still get up when nobody checks in? Will you still show up when nobody notices? Will you still give your all even when nobody claps? Say this: I perform in silence, I build in secret, and I rise with no applause, because what makes you powerful isn't who celebrates you, it's who you become without the celebration. And when you've learned to move alone, nothing can stop you when support finally comes. So if they don't clap, let them sleep. If they don't see it, let them scroll. You've got something bigger, a vision that moves without noise. Start now, clap for yourself. And when you show up in that silence, that's when the breakthrough begins. Part 4, you're not late, you're in training. The clock keeps ticking and you keep wondering if it's too late. Too late to start over, too late to dream again, too late to catch up with the people who already made it. But let me tell you something real. You're not late, you're in training. Steve Harvey didn't get his break in his 20s. He didn't walk into his calling on time according to the world's calendar, but he walked into it right on schedule according to God's. Delay is not denial. Silence is not punishment. Every minute you've spent doubting is developing you. Every door that didn't open, it was protecting you. Every not yet was preparing you, because before you get the spotlight, you need to be built for it. And what builds you? The grind, the quiet seasons, the waiting room, the discipline nobody sees. Training isn't glamorous. It's daily. It's uncomfortable. It's repetitive. And that's what makes it powerful, because training gives you something: motivation. Can't muscle. It shapes you into the kind of person who doesn't fold when pressure shows up. You think you're behind, but what if you're exactly where you need to be? Say this: I'm not late, I'm being shaped. My pace is not their pace. My process is not their path. Because there's something dangerous about comparison. It'll rob you of your confidence. It'll blind you to your own growth. And it'll convince you that timing is everything, when in truth, preparation is everything. If you were meant to have it already, you would. But since you don't, it means the version of you that's needed is still in development. And that's a gift, because once you're ready, nothing can stop you. This is not the end. This is not failure. This is training. And the ones who rise the highest are the ones who embrace the process, not just the prize. So breathe, reset, and walk forward with boldness, because you're not behind. You're just being built to handle what's ahead. Part 5, start where you are, not where you wish you were. You keep looking at where you want to be, the dream life, the success story, the version of you that's polished, paid, and praised. But that's not where greatness begins. It starts right here where your feet are, where you are broke, tired, unsure, and unproven. Steve Harvey didn't wait until he had a network deal to tell jokes. He didn't wait until he had money to act like a professional. He started with what he had in church basements, small clubs, and his car. Because the start isn't supposed to be shiny, it's supposed to be real. You want to skip to the chapter where it all works, but you don't get there unless you start messy. Stop saying, once I have better equipment, once I get more followers, once I feel more confident. No, start now with what you've got, with what you know, with what's in your hand, not what's in your imagination. You are not empty. You are not too late. You are equipped right now. And guess what? The most powerful stories were never about people who had everything. They were about people who started anyway. Say this: I begin with what I have. I move with what I know. And I trust that more will come as I grow. The dream is big, but the step is small. Take it anyway. The vision is scary, but the moment is now. Claim it anyway. There will never be a perfect time, but this is your appointed time to begin. Don't wait to be polished, to be powerful. Don't wait to be celebrated, to be consistent. Start where you are. Let that be enough, because the start is what unlocks the stretch, and the stretch is what creates the strength. Part 6, stop looking for easy, look for alignment. Everybody wants easy. They want the fast track, the shortcut, the magic formula that makes it all click without the work. But here's the truth: easy doesn't last. Easy doesn't build you. Easy doesn't fulfill you. Steve Harvey didn't ask for easy, he asked for alignment. Alignment with purpose, alignment with calling, alignment with the path God carved out for him, even when it hurt. Because when you're aligned, you don't need easy. You need clarity. You need truth. You need the kind of direction that keeps you walking when the path is uphill. The reason so many people feel stuck is because they're chasing ease instead of alignment. They want results without resistance, success without structure, peace without process. But alignment says, this is my lane, and I will walk it whether it rains or shines. Say this: I'm not looking for easy. I'm looking for what's meant for me. Because when you chase what's aligned, not just what's easy, you find peace in the pressure. You find purpose in the process. You find meaning in the middle of mess. Alignment demands that you say no to what's popular, that you walk away from what's fast, that you lean into what grows you, not what simply soothes you. Steve Harvey's alignment didn't always make sense, but it always had fruit. And fruit takes time, it takes obedience. It takes being willing to go deep before you go wide. So stop asking for the easy way out. Ask for the true way forward. because alignment is sacred, it's personal. And once you walk in it, nobody can shake you. Don't chase comfort, chase calling. Don't seek ease, seek elevation. Easy is overrated. Alignment, that's where the real wins begin. Part 7, fueling faith, believing without seeing, trusting without knowing. Faith doesn't shout, it whispers. And in that whisper is the power to move mountains, even when your hands are trembling. Steve Harvey once said, faith is the belief in things you cannot see. That's not just a quote, it's a way of life. Because the truth is, your journey won't always come with confirmation. There will be days when nothing makes sense, when everything feels delayed, when silence fills the room and doubt knocks on your door. And in those moments, faith becomes your fire. Not the kind that dances in daylight, the kind that burns quietly in the dark, the kind that says, I still believe even when I don't understand. When you believe without seeing, you start living from vision instead of validation. You don't wait on approval, you move with assurance. You don't need a map, you trust the compass in your soul. You won't always feel brave, you won't always feel certain, but faith doesn't need certainty, it needs movement. Say this, I walk by faith, not because I see it, but because I know it's already mine. The world will ask you for proof, but purpose will ask you for belief. That means taking the step before the ground appears. That means staying committed when no one claps. That means showing up when your emotions say hide. Faith is discipline for your spirit. It's how you keep building when you've got no blueprint. It's how you keep trusting when the door is still closed. Steve Harvey believed when he had nothing, and because of that belief, he became someone who now inspires millions. You want impact? It begins with inner conviction, not the kind you post online, but the kind you whisper to yourself when the night feels heavy. You are being prepared for something your eyes can't yet see. So don't fall for what's visible. Fall into what's eternal. Walk by faith, not because it's easy, but because it's the only path that leads to destiny. Part 8, daily identity, becoming the person your dreams require. Everybody wants to dream, the success, the freedom, the stage, but few are willing to become the kind of person who can actually carry it. Because dreams aren't just goals, they're assignments. And every assignment demands a version of you that's stronger, clearer, and more grounded. Steve Harvey didn't just dream of the spotlight. He developed the character to handle it. He became the person who could carry the weight of what he asked for. And that begins with daily identity. Not what you say when you're inspired, but what you do when nobody's looking. Not who you are on Sunday, but who you are on Monday morning. Not how loud you shout your goals, but how quietly you honor your values. You've got to match your vision with your values. And your habits, they're the bricks that build your future. Say this, I'm not chasing a dream. I'm becoming the person who's built for it. It's not about the big moment. It's about the daily decision to show up, to be excellent when it's inconvenient, to be disciplined when it's easier to scroll, because your dream isn't waiting on the world, it's waiting on you to evolve. Identity is crafted in the quiet, in your choices, in your character, in the consistency that nobody claps for. If you want to hold it, you've got to first become someone who won't drop it. Steve Harvey sharpened his voice in the dark, his timing in empty rooms, his strength through rejection, because the dream wasn't just about having, it was about becoming. The breakthrough doesn't happen when the dream arrives. It happens when you're finally ready to carry it. So ask yourself, are your actions in agreement with your assignment? Are your habits aligned with your hopes? Are you becoming what your dream demands? Because when you grow into that version, the world can't help but open doors. Part 9, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Opportunities don't knock politely. They show up suddenly. And when they do, they don't wait for you to prepare. They don't say, take your time. They say, let's see if you were serious. And the people who rise, they were ready before it arrived. Steve Harvey didn't prepare when he got the phone call. He was already preparing before the phone rang. So when opportunity came, he didn't flinch. He stepped in with power. Too many of us are trying to get ready when we should have already been preparing. We wait until the stage is set to practice our voice. We wait until the offer comes to start the work. But by then, it's too late, because the world doesn't reward potential, it rewards readiness. Say this, I stay ready, in silence, in obscurity, in faith, because my opportunity deserves a version of me that's already prepared. When you live in that mindset, you stop performing for applause. You start practicing for alignment. You train not for the likes, but for the legacy. That's how you become unstoppable. Not because you're the loudest, but because you're the most prepared. Being ready doesn't mean perfect. It means faithful. It means being disciplined when the world is distracted. It means building muscle before the weight shows up. Steve Harvey didn't rise by accident. He rose because he stayed in preparation, even when there was no guarantee. And that's what your dream is asking for. Not just passion, preparation, not just energy, excellence, not just hope, habit. You've got to be so ready that when the door swings open, you don't hesitate. You walk through it like you were born for. And truth is, you were. So don't wait to get ready. Live like it's already coming. Build like it's already yours. And when it shows up, answer with confidence because you've been ready this whole time. Part team, you're closer than you think. Let me tell you something. Most people never hear. You're not far. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're not failing. You are closer than you think. Steve Harvey was sleeping in his car when he got the call that changed everything. No clue it was coming, no sign it was near, but he kept going. And that yes showed up when he least expected it. That's how life moves. Breakthrough doesn't come with a drum roll. It comes after discipline. After faith, after all the nobody's watching moments. Your dream is not 5 years away. It might just be 5 more faithful days away. But you'll never know if you stop now. You'll never see it if you convince yourself that delay means denial. Say this, I'm not quitting because I'm closer than I think. What if the next post is the one that hits? What if the next video is the one that explodes? What if the next door is the one that finally opens wide? You can't stop here. You didn't come this far to come this far. Everything you've walked through, every tear, every failure, every lonely day, it's been building this moment. It's been shaping your spirit, sharpening your voice, stretching your capacity. Now is not the time to question the process. Now is the time to trust what's being built. Steve Harvey didn't become who he is because he always saw results. He became that man because he always kept moving. You've got momentum. You've got something stirring in your soul. Don't waste it. Second guessing your pace. Trust your grind. Trust your God. And trust that the yes you're praying for is on its way. Stay faithful. Stay moving. And when the door opens, walk in like you've always belonged there because you have. And because you were never as far as you thought. End of series. You don't need support. You need start. This ain't just about motivation. This is about becoming who you were born to be. So keep building. Keep showing up. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless you and keep rising.